Hello, everyone, and welcome to ApplyBoard live session. My name is Ismail Farag. I am a partner relations manager at ApplyBoard based in Canada. We are happy to have you with us today. Our session today is about careers to consider for 2022. As I know, Australia is still remain one of the most popular study destinations when students consider study abroad. So I'm very excited today to host a guest from Murdoch University in Australia. So we're going to talk about a lot of things like student life, why Murdoch Uni, and different programs and careers. I'd like to welcome Mr. Fahad Adnan. Fahad, nice to have you with us here today.
Thanks, Ismail. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to have you, mate. And can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yep. My name is Fahad Adnan, and I'm associated with Murdoch University from last 3 years now. In my initial role, I used to work as in-country representative for Pakistan, Bhutan, and Southeast Asian countries, including Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand. Since January 2021, I'm looking after Pakistan, Bhutan, Africa, and European region.
Oh, that's a big profile to cover. I'm sure you're very busy. Fahad, I understand that Murdoch is based in Perth City, which is one of my favorites. So can you please tell us a little bit about the Australia in general and Perth in particular? So our audience would be interested in learning about the lifestyle in Australia and Perth.
Sure, Ismail. Well, in Australia, we've got different states, and each state has a capital. Like Sydney is capital of New South Wales, Melbourne is capital of Victoria. Similarly, area-wise, the biggest state in Australia is WA, Western Australia, and the capital of WA is Perth. The population of Perth City is 2.6 million approximately, and it's a primary industry and banking hub of the country. Most of the companies listed in Australian Stock Exchange, they've got their head offices in Perth. So it's a very lively and vibrant city with vibrant nightlife, and it's a peaceful and quieter place if you compare it with other metropolitan cities in Australia. It is ranked number 6th in the world for most livable city. So the quality of life is extremely high. We've got students who wants to explore more. We've got 19 beaches within the city metropolitan coastline with some of the world-class kite surfing sites. And the city, it is, alongside the city, we have 12,000 kilometers of pristine coastline across Western Australia. So also it is one of, it is the cheapest capital of Australia. Uh, the living cost, if you compare it with other cities in Australia, it is very low in Perth. Basically, there are two major cost contributing factors for a student when they talk about their monthly expense. One is accommodation and the other is transportation, because student has to commute between 3 points throughout the month. One will be his university, one will be his workplace, the third one will be the place if he's residing outside the university. So it entails a significant cost if you talk about transportation. Both of these costs, like accommodation and transportation, they have been taken care of by the city. So student can get easily shared accommodations ranging from 140 to $170 per week, depending upon location. And for transportation, student gets 40% discount on all public transport, be it a bus, be it a train. So student gets 40% discount. And within the CBD area, transportation is free. There are buses where students can hop on and drop off anywhere. They won't be charged anything. And also the CBD area, it's free Wi-Fi. So students are well connected with their friends and family across the country. or across the globe, I should say. Another element of Perth is the availability of part-time employment. So Perth was ranked number one in 2019 for part-time employment. Um, the minimum wage rate in Perth is $20.33 to be very specific. So if a student wants to study and support himself for a living expense, they can easily manage their living expense by doing part-time work, which is 20 hours per week allowed during their classes. And once they're on their semester breaks, they can work full-time as per their visa conditions. Perth is also a sunniest city in Australia with 300 days of sunshine, and also healthiest city in Australia. One of the things that I would like to mention here is, you know, the lifestyle Perth has to offer. It's a very relaxed lifestyle, and the climatic conditions are very favorable for the students. The winters they range for as low as like 9 degree to 11 degrees centigrade, and for summers it's 31 to 33 degrees centigrade in Perth. It's a very diversified city. There is a lot of diversity, cultural diversity. It is also a city known to be built by foreigners. So there's a lot to learn from different cultures and enjoy while you study if you choose Perth as your study destination.
Yeah, brilliant. 300 days of sunshine. That's amazing. It sounds like a wonderful city for a student to live in or start his overseas study life in. So, Fahad, let's talk about Murdoch University. What about Murdoch's background, ranking, and what are the employability rates for your graduates?
Yeah, Murdoch University is, it's still under 50 years of age and it was established in 1975. So it's still a young university. If you talk about the rankings as per Times Higher Education, it is among top 100 in the world in young universities category. It's top 70 in Asia Pacific. And our research excellence is 87% as per 2018 in multiple disciplines. So it's a research-based university. It's a concentrated campus. It's the second biggest campus in Australia. There's a lot for students within the university. Like they can choose from more than 200 courses that we offer, both in undergrad and postgrad level, across different disciplines like law, nursing, health sciences, psychology, business studies, information technology. So, whatever the student is interested in, there is something for the student in the course list to choose from. And the campus life is very vibrant. We have students from 100 different backgrounds, nationality backgrounds. So it's not, when you go for your foreign education, it's not just the books you learn from, it's also the cultural diversity, how different people are residing in. You get to mix up with them and get to know more about the world. So Murdoch University is offering this for all international students.
Oh, that's great, and I think international students will have a wonderful life at Murdoch. And this brings us to the student life and the life on campus and the Murdoch accommodation, if any. Can you please tell us about that?
Sure. We do have student accommodation for 800 students. We call it Murdoch Village, which is on-campus accommodation. Now, student actually has three options to choose from. He or she either can choose to stay on campus, he can choose to stay off campus in private accommodation, and he can choose to stay with one of the Australian families too. So if a student goes for on-campus accommodation, uh, there are a lot of benefits for the student. For example, there are a lot of indoor and outdoor activities for the students within the campus, like outdoor cinema, like outdoor barbecue with friends. Um, there are different spots where students can hang around. Um, it's a campus built on natural surroundings. So the campus facility, accommodation facility, is furnished for the students. They can just inform the university, and university's transportation, they're gonna pick student up from the airport and take them straight to their residence within the university. The on-campus accommodation starts from $157 per week, and which is again very low. With all the benefits included. Um, if student wants to go for off-campus accommodation, it's going to cost him 140 to $170 per week, depending upon location. The only difference between on-campus accommodation and off-campus accommodation is that students need to pay upfront for their first semester if they want to book their place for on-campus accommodation, whereas if they want to stay in private accommodation off campus, they just need to pay for 2 weeks rent and 2 weeks security. So there is a slight cost difference between the two, but always on-campus accommodation is preferable because you get to know students who are already studying there. It also saves you with your time and cost of traveling. If you're staying off-campus accommodation, you certainly need to get to university. But if you're staying within the university, it saves you time and cost.
Interesting. And Fahad, our session today is about careers to consider in 2022. So can you please talk to us about the popular programs in Murdoch and the minimum requirement to qualify for these programs?
Yeah. We have different disciplines to offer to students. In our undergraduate level, there are few of the popular courses I would like to talk about. One of the most famous course is Bachelor's of Cybersecurity and Forensics. It's double majors within 3 years of duration at undergrad level, and keeping in view the cybersecurity is the buzzword these days across the globe and in Australia too. So there's a lot of job opportunities if you choose for these technical education. We also have business streams where choose student can choose from marketing, finance, banking, tourism, and hospitality. So there's a range of commerce courses that student can choose from. We also offer bachelors of law. Nursing is there. We do have psychology and science and art streams. We do have health sciences, international relations. So these are the few courses that are coming to my mind at undergraduate level. And for postgraduate, we do have Masters of Business Administration Global. This is international MBA and designed for the students who are fresh graduates. So MBA Global student doesn't need to have prior work experience to qualify for this course. We also have Masters of Professional Accounting, which is quite famous. Masters of Information Technology is one of the strengths of Murdoch because of the lowest tuition fee. And we offer three specializations in Masters of Information Technology. One is data sciences, artificial intelligence. The other one is cyber security and internet working. And the third one is IT management. We get a lot of students, international students, choose this course if they want to, pursue their career in IT. Last but not the least, our renewable and sustainable energy program at master's level is very famous. Australia is an environment conscious country, and a lot of work being done for climatic changes and global warming. So there's a lot of scope in terms of future if you choose this masters for your further education. And one thing to keep in mind for students is that whether they are doing bachelor's degree or master's degree, uh, if they want to uh, extend their stay in Australia in terms of post-study work rights, the minimum duration of the course should be 2 years at least. So if a student is enrolled in 2 years degree and completes their bachelor's or master's program in Perth, they do qualify for 3 years post-study work right visa in Perth, whereas in other cities like Sydney or Melbourne, they just qualify for 2 years. So there's an additional year for the student, which is also another benefit of choosing Perth as a study destination in Australia.
Yeah, that's great. I understand that Perth is a regional visa qualifier. So, and for the benefit of our students, information about those programs are at applyboard.com website. So, I found a question here about scholarships. A lot of students ask about the availability of scholarships and student support programs. So, does Murdoch offer it? Can you please talk to us about that?
Yes, certainly. But before I jump into scholarships, I think I missed your second part of last question, which is about the academic requirements for the students. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about academic requirements for these courses. So, if a student is going for undergraduate course, we for most of the courses we accept 6 points in their A levels. The student has completed A levels; they just need to score 6 points in 2 or 3 of their academic subjects. And if their curriculum, the average percentage should be 65% to qualify for undergraduate degree programs. And if a student is residing in a country which is non-English speaking country, they also need to qualify for minimum English requirement, which is overall 6 band in IELTS with no band less than 6 for most of the courses. There are few courses which require higher IELTS like psychology, nursing, law, but majority of the courses, the minimum requirement is overall 6 band with no band less than 6. We also accept PTE and other English tests like TOEFL, IBT, home-based. So all these tests are available, and the details of the equivalence of these tests to IELTS can be found on our website. For postgrad courses, it's just that student has to compete. Uh, in Australia, we've got qualification frameworks for different levels of study. So if a student has completed his bachelor's degree, 3 years or 4 years bachelor's degree, it is equivalent to Australian Qualification Framework 7, which means student directly qualifies for master's program. Um, so these are the minimum academic entry requirements for both undergraduate and postgraduate study, talking in general. Now coming towards scholarships, which is the heart favorite spot for the students. And also during my time when I was student, I also was looking for scholarships while I choose a university for my study destination. So Murdoch University has got exciting scholarships for students. We do have online international welcome scholarship, where currently the international borders are closed in Australia for traveling due to pandemic, but university has come up with the offering of most of the courses in online model, so students they could continue their studies and then there is no gap for them. So there is a load flexibility option for the student. If they want to choose to study online, they can choose either 4 units to start with, or 3 units, or 2 units, or even 1 unit if they are comfortable with it. And then there is scholarship based upon the number of units enrolled. It's 40% of the semester's tuition fee. For example, if a semester, if the total semester is costing student like $15,000 for 6 months, they simply need to subtract 40% of that amount, and uh, they can continue their online mode of study. Now this is a huge scholarship for students to encourage them to start off and not limiting themselves because of financial or other constraints. Secondly, if student comes face to face, sooner or later the border is going to be open. So it's not that this scholarship stops. When student joins face-to-face, they also qualify for our normal International Welcome Scholarship, which is valued up to $12,000. But this scholarship is awarded in chunks. For example, in the first semester, we award scholarship for $3,000 to be deducted from the total payable tuition fee of the semester. And in the second semester, we go for $3,000 deduction again. So this scholarship depends upon the semester student joins face-to-face in our Perth campus. And the best thing is that we award this scholarship right from the start, so that students, financial conditions could be met. They can support the education. And also, this scholarship is automatic scholarship. There is no separate application process. So if a student qualifies for offer letter in Murdoch University, they automatically get the scholarship in the offer letter.
Well, that's interesting. That's a lot. I like the load flexibility. I think a lot of our students will be interested in this option. Fahad, we have a couple of questions from our audience. So the first one says, "Hi Fahad, if I get admission to Murdoch for 2022, when will I be able to travel to Australia and start on campus?"
Yeah, it's a very good question and very famous question that I come across. All right, so all the seminars and group discussions that we have among our academia, we are anticipating that our July intake next year is going to be face to face. There hasn't been any official announcement as yet, but keeping in view the progress of vaccination in Australia, like currently it's more than 60% of the population who got their first jab in Australia, and more than 38% of population in Australia who are fully vaccinated. So if this number hits 80%, the border is going to open. And if the pace goes the same, we are anticipating that we'll be opening. I mean, the government will be announcing something to open borders before July.
That's interesting. Yes, a lot of people are waiting for a positive announcement for Australian government to encourage students to come to Australia. Fahad, I have one last question. Our students say, "I have a science background and I'm considering undergraduate studies in Australia. What are the best programs that will lead to a promising career in the country after graduation?"
Yeah, there is a number of options students can choose from. Bachelor's of biomedical sciences is one of the famous disciplines again, and the career prospects are great. They can choose to work in pharmaceutical industry. They can choose to work in health facilities as a researcher. So Bachelor's of biomedical science, if you want to study science, I would vouch for. Or also you can go for Bachelor's of psychology and science. Again, it's a very interesting course for the students in terms of career prospects.
That's great. I think that concludes the question, and I'll take this opportunity to thank you very much, Fahad, for your time today. You've been a great guest, and looking forward to another session with you soon.
Always a pleasure, Ismail. Thanks for having me on this platform, and I look forward to have more sessions with you in future. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you. Bye. So dear friends, thank you for tuning in today. If you haven't done so, please subscribe and click like buttons to get updates on another ApplyBoard live sessions. Goodbye.